Even though we here at Grandpa's Kitchen are moving to a more heart-healthy and diabetic-friendly diet, please understand that we are not experts in the health industry. So before taking any of our recipes or product recommendations to heart, make sure that it doesn't rail against your diet that has already been established. And if you're uncertain, please see your healthcare provider. Any type of changes in your diet could cause health complications and or death. So cook smart and eat smart.
In the great hall of the Justice League, there are assembled the world's four greatest heroes, created from the cosmic legends of the universe.
Elmo, get out of that control booth. Where's the cooking show, family oriented? We're not the Super Friends, you dipstick. Good, now I can't take you no more. You know what? Let's unring this bell and start this the right way. How about that?
Welcome to Grandpa's Kitchen, starring Grandpa, Cousin Cletus, Cousin Elmo, and your host, J-Bob.
And hi, and welcome to Grandpa's Kitchen. I'm your country cousin and host, J-Bob. That's spelled J-B-O-B. I can spell it backwards. B-O-B. Yeah! Yeah! Well, hi, and welcome to the homestead. Well, are you glad to see us? We're back. We missed you. All right, today we're going to be delving into not a one, not but two, but three recipes in one video. So it's kind of long, bear with us. But it's all centers around Keto KFC, which this meal is heart and diabetic friendly. In fact, we'll show our results at the end of the video. But before we get into all this goodness that's about ready to hit you, how about a word from our sponsor?
Today's episode brought to you by Redneck Soup. Yes, Redneck Soup, made with genuine 100% USD prime redneck meat. All of our rednecks are marinated in malt liquor and American snuff tobaccos. So if you're a cannibal looking for something different, pick yourself up a can of Redneck Soup. Brought to you by the good people at Cannibalicious Foods, where our motto is, why be patriotic when you can eat one? And now on to our show!
I'll tell you what, are we that desperate? I'll tell you what, anymore when I see these kind of ads, I'm just going to have a Coke and a smile. All right, now today we want to get right into all the goodness of this. Now we're going to address several things. I had to write it down, believe it or not, because people are going to ask all kinds of stuff. Like number one, what are we cooking? Okay, now we're going to have what you would get at KFC, all right? We're going to have fried chicken. We're going to have mashed taters and gravy with coleslaw and biscuits. That's some good victuals. Now, does this stuff taste like KFC? Now, I will say about the coleslaw, it's dang near on the mark. The gravy, no. Their gravy is like a lot of gravies you get in restaurants. It's a powdered gravy. It's not really that good. But our gravy, not only is it tasty, but it's much better. In fact, it can be either chicken or beef gravy. We'll explain that later, all right? And two, our gravy, which they can't boast, but we can boast, is carb-free and fat-free. Yes, sir. So it's a much better gravy. Now, the next thing that we're cooking is going to be the fried chicken. Oh, yeah? Now, how close is our fried chicken? Well, be honest with you, this is a copycat recipe. And in the description, I'm going to have the seasoning that I use to give you General J. Bob's chicken. It ain't the kernels, it's 12 herbs and spices. That recipe we modified just a hair bit, all right? But you're not going to get it quite to tasting like KFC. Would you like to know why? There's no recipe you're going to find that's going to do it. Because KFC cooks it a unique way. They use pressure cookers with oil in it, or oil. And that's how they make it. So the cooking process will change the taste of it, because let's be honest, does fried chicken taste like grilled chicken? Nah, there's a difference. Oh, there's a lot of difference. And two, we don't know what kind of oil they use. It's probably peanut oil or something like that. But even so, we can't use that with heart problems, and diabetics really shouldn't be using that either. We're going to fry it in olive oil, which is a good thing. Puts healthy fats on it. Well, you can't go wrong. Olives are fruit. Yes, sir. That's the idea with keto, is finding natural products that gets rid of the carbs, get rid of the fat, so we can reduce weight, or as in our case, us being diabetic, keep that glucose down. All right? But what you do get when you get done is a real tasty piece of chicken. Now, we've got other suggestions if you want to use something else. So let's stop all this jawing and get right on into the cooking.
Well, all right, let's get started. Now, we're doing this in the morning because we're going to have to let that sit in the refrigerator for a while. So here we go. Let's get started. All right. First, we're going to get one of these big pound bags of tricolor coleslaw. This is just your green cabbage, carrots, and red cabbage. And this comes in a pound bag. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in a bowl. Once I get her open. And I'm just going to dump it in the bowl. Nothing big. Now, this next part is optional if you want to do it. I recommend it. It's real tasty. Get that out of the way. And I'm going to add some diced onions. I get that all put in there, like so. And then I'm going to put that over to the side. Now, however much onion you want, all right? Now, we got to make up the sauce. And let me get a bowl out. I'm getting unprepared here. And now we're going to make the dressing. This is what's going to go in to make it all tasty. Okay, well, first, it's going to take 2 cups of mayonnaise. Now, we're not going to just use any old one mayonnaise. We're going to use Hellmann's olive oil mayonnaise dressing. This has reduced fat. Lower fats, but you got a lot of good fats in here. So this is more what we want to go for, and very low carb count. Almost non-existent. So it's going to start with 2 cups of mayonnaise. Don't you hate cooking shows where everything's nice and neat? It never comes out like messy like this, Yeah. And what I'm going to do is put that 2 cups right in. This is part of our dressing. Now, I know a lot of people are saying ain't mayonnaise bad for you. Well, I'm not going to eat the entire thing. All right. We're getting it. Yeah, there we go. And I'm going to leave that scraper right there. Rubber spatula. Now, here comes... All right, I forgot to close out of that. My bad. Okay, now we're going to have to sweeten this up a bit. All right? Now... if you're going to do it, say like you don't have diabetes or heart problems, you can use regular mayonnaise. And if you're going to use sugar in this recipe, it would be a 1/2 cup of sugar. We're going to use sweet and low. And it's going to be, what was it again? I got to look. 2 tablespoons. I thought it was. Reason why you write down your recipes, people. I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of sweet and low. And I buy this by the box, not by the packets. Really enjoy it. Now, the last for the dressing, this is it. It's going to be 2 tablespoons and a half of white vinegar. Now, we just mix it up. Now, I'm doing this in the morning, so the beverage right now is coffee. But we want to mix this up, get good and mixed up. All right? And you want to do it like in the morning, because once you get this done, you got to refrigerate it for at least 1 hour. Okay? No exceptions. It's got to set up kind of like tater salad, deviled eggs and stuff like that. Oh, this is going to be tasty. Whoo, doggy. And mix that up real good. It takes a minute to get this mixed up. All right. The hardest part's keeping Elmo out of it. He'll sit there and eat the whole dang bowl if I'd let him. Moron. And, there we go. You get it till you get it real good and creamy, just like that. And that's what we're looking for. Now, we're going to bring back our cabbage and onions. Onions. And now just mix that right on in. There we go. All right. Look like I'm going to have to do dishes again. and basically you just kind of like mixing it in, folding it in, however you want to call it. I should have got a bigger bowl. Woo! Yeah, this stuff is not wanting to mix right. Okay, there we go. It was fighting me. But you want to get that good and mixed up, okay? Because this is going to have to sit in the refrigerator for at least 1 hour, all right? Because if you try to eat it right now, it's not going to taste real good. It's kind of funny. The flavor improves. Oh, yeah. That's just about right. The flavor will improve when it mixes in with the cabbage and the onions. Oh, yeah. But it is kind of hard to stir at first. Just take your time. Go slow. It'll get there. Well, look at that. Did you see that? They could do a better chopping process. Good night, people. It's the old antics. You had one job. Like putting hot dog buns in a hamburger bun bag. Good night. All right. All right. Well, we're going to get this in a lid on this and get it in the refrigerator for 1 hour. And we'll see you after a while, just like this. All right. Now, let's get this chicken started. Now, some things we got to learn is that, first of all, what are we using? Are we going to use flour? No, we are not going to use flour. Flour has a lot of carbs in it. So, what are we using instead? You ready for a shock? We're going to use lentils. Now, these are white lentils, and you got red lentils. Which one do you use? You can use either one that you want. Only difference between the two is just the color. If you use red lentils, which we are going to use, it will make the chicken look a lot darker. Don't think it's burnt. It just gives it a darker color. Outside of that, nothing. These have only about 1/3 the carbs that all-purpose flour has. Yeah, like a quarter cup, and get 18 grams, where flour would have had 41. Yeah, big difference. So what you do is, and I got it right here in a Ziploc gallon bag. There you are, ground up red lentils. And I just grind them up in a coffee grinder. All right. The first thing we got to do when it comes to the chicken is we got to get it ready to fry. All right. Rule number 1. To make it healthier, we got to take this stubborn old skin off. And it can be kind of hard, but just keep working it and pull down, like on this leg here. It's a lot of fat and bad stuff in that skin. A lot of calories and all that good stuff too. Oh, by the way, I do not wash my chicken. I know a lot of people do. You don't have to worry about that. Now, we're going to look around and see if there's any excess fat, like right here. If you have something like that, you can always take a pair of kitchen scissors, cut it right off. Yeah, well, you know, it's going to be uncooperative. There we go. I'm trying to take off as much fat as you can. All right, now I'm going to do up the rest of this chicken real quick and wash my hands and then be right back, and I'll show you the next step just like this. All right, hands are nice and clean because we're going to have to use one hand to handle the chicken and the other one to do the rest of the stuff. Now, some things that we're going to do. We're going to season it and flour it now, all right? So I went ahead and took the liberty, because this recipe is an old KFC copycat recipe, and I mixed up the seasoning. Now, you got choices and options with your seasoning. The easiest way to do the seasoning, you can use what I'm going to put it in the description, what I'm doing here. Now, if you wanted to, you could just use regular McCormick's poultry seasoning and maybe a little pepper, salt if you can handle it. But if you can't handle salt, there's a salt substitute. You might want to check it with your doctor. Let's see, there you are. And try this out. The original no salt. It tastes like salt, but it's not sodium chloride, it's potassium chloride. But make sure your doctor's okay with you using this before you start using it, all right? So that's up to you. All right. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have the seasoning right here, and I put them in a bowl for a reason. Now I'm going to have me some spray olive oil, and the reason I do it like this is not I'm trying to save the environment. Nope. I do it like this because those cans of spray oil you get at the store, good night. Once you put some oil in the thing, as much as you charge me. All right, we're going to take a piece of chicken. I'm going to hold it with my one hand, and then start taking my seasoning and just start adding it to the meat right on top. Get directly on the meat. See, look, I got some wax paper down here that will make a mess. All right, now I'm going to take my spray oil and just lightly spray it with some oil. Now, here's my lentils, and I'm going to put it right here in the big gallon bag. Of course, you can do 2 or 3 pieces. Seal it up good and tight. Shake and bake, baby, shake and bake. Get that shaking. Yeah, there we go. Go ahead and take my one hand. Shake free any of that, and there you go. It's all nicely breaded, seasoned up, ready to go. All right. The next thing I'm going to do is throw up the rest of this chicken sitting over here. We'll get the electric skillet out and start frying it, all right? Then once these have browned up and I've got an internal temperature of 165, they're ready to eat. So let's move on to the gravy. Well, all right, let's get going. Now, there's only 2 ingredients for the gravy that are going to be necessary. And the first thing is we're making chicken gravy, so we're going to use chicken broth. If I was making a beef gravy, I'd use beef broth. The thing about this is there's no fat, no carbs in chicken broth. All right? And to make it thick, we're not going to use cornstarch. Normally, that's what you would use. We're going to use this, what was designed for gluten allergies, known as xanthan gum. Now, we don't have to use a whole lot of this, all right? And what we does is, now, I put some onions in as I'm heating this up, and once it gets hot, you're ready to start making gravy. And you're going to need a wire whisk, that's per now. Now, you can put some onions in here. I'm going to put some of this poultry seasoning in. That should do. You can put more like, or just put thyme in, whatever you like. Season it as you see fit. The only drawback on this is the salt content is on the high side from the chicken broth. But that's all right. I'm not eating the whole thing. So, how much xanthan gum do we use? Well, this is a 14.5 ounce can of chicken broth. If we're at that amount, or around 16, we're going to use a half a teaspoon of xanthan gum. It's not a true 1-to-1 to cornstarch. If I was using cornstarch, I'd have to use a whole lot. Okay, and just like anything, get it stirring and start sprinkling in and start mixing it in good. Just like cornstarch, you cause it to be lumpy. All right, and you just keep doing this real slow and keep it going. I got to stop and take care of the chicken, and we'll get on to the next part of the video, just like this. All right, there it is. 2 pieces of chicken, mashed taters with gravy, coleslaw, 2 biscuits. Now, we're going to check my sugar just like you're supposed to. And in the wrap up, we got some things we got to square away because I couldn't talk about the gravy and all that. But we'll do that after we get done with the here in a couple hours. And my test results are 114, little not too bad for me. So let's eat this up and then we'll get on with the rest of the show, just like this. All right, we just took my blood sugar. I'm at a 145. Ain't that good? All right. Now, we have coming up here in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and give you the rest of what we forgot to tell you about on the gravy and anything else and do our wrap up. And this supper is...
Yeah! All right. Now, that was a scrumptious meal. And I'll tell you what, man, that was some good victuals. Now, like I said earlier, I'm going to cover all the things I didn't get to, especially with the gravy. But there's a few things I didn't cover when I was cooking, like the fried chicken. Why did we spray oil on it? Okay, remember, we're taking the skin off to reduce the fat. Okay? Well, we want to put the fat back. So I sprinkled everything with the seasoning, then spread it with oil. This helps keep the seasonings to stick into the chicken. And then when we flour it, the flour is going to stick as well. Okay, and we got healthier fats here. That's what we need to keep the cholesterol down. Plus, with the lentils being so low in carb, yeah. And what's neat about the lentils, they react in oil the same way that flour does. And it gives you a crust on it. Okay, and we have really enjoyed it since we found it. In fact, we were using this one product from Louisiana Fish Fry. It was Keto Classic Fried Chicken, I think it was. Not bad, but hard to come by in this neck of the woods. And when I discovered lentils, whoa, man, it was a game changer. In fact, we got a lot more stuff with lentils coming up in the future, so keep a weathered eye on that. That sucker's a lot more multi-purpose than what you think. Of course, then again, I'm not sure if I could use those lentils to bake with. That's a possibility. I don't know. But right now, that's an unknown. We may experiment with that. You never know. Now, with the gravy, we made it with chicken broth. Now, you can make a beef gravy with beef broth. Okay, so you got one or the other. But man, carb-free, fat-free, just got to watch the salt on it. But like I said, you ain't going to eat the whole dang gum pan. Now, you can either do it with broth or stock. The only problem is now with stock, you're going to have, it's going to be in a 32-ounce bottle. I think it's about twice the amount. Okay, if it's more than 16 ounces doubled, that'd be 32. You'd have to put a whole teaspoon of xanthan gum in. Now, that's going to make a lot of gravy, but if you got a lot of folks to feed, that might be the better way of going, but that's up to you. I find the stock is more flavorful, but I wish they'd put it in a can because a lot of times it's not just but maybe a few of us here. I don't need to make that much gravy. Good Lord, that'd be overkill. And as far as seasoning goes, like I said, do it however you want. Now, watch it. You don't want to put more than, if you're going to use the chicken broth, more than a half a teaspoon. And it's the same way if you keep cooking it for too long. The consistency can turn into almost like slime. Okay? It'll get slimy. So watch how much you put in. You can put a little bit over a half a teaspoon. But just be careful, all right? And the longer you cook, the thicker it'll get, but it'll become more slimy. You might, as it starts to get in the kind of thick, take it off. That way, it's not going to be that, yeah. That's the only thing that's really bad about that stuff. Okay, now some things on that plate that might confuse you. Now the biscuits, we use just regular frozen biscuits because, well, I can keep my carb count under control. One biscuit was like 22 carbs, so I had two, that's 44. Okay, well you say, well, why didn't you worry about the taters? You got 44 carbs here and that chicken and all that. Because when it comes to taters, what's the key to taters? Boil them. That's right. When you make mashed taters, you dice it up and boil it. What happens when you boil a tater? Froth appears. What's that froth? It's starch, the very thing that's shooting your sugar up. Okay, you have to skim that off or it'll overboil. Well, that's what you want to do when you do taters in the first place. Boil them before you do the next step. Now, with mashed taters, you're going to boil them until you get soft. But when I make tater wedges or fried taters, I'll cut them up to the pieces I want, boil them. Then I'll go until the froth comes up, and as soon as the froth stops, I take it off the heat. I'm not wanting to soften them. Just get the excess starch. then go ahead and bake or fry, and I keep the carbs way low. As you saw, I mean, I only got up to 145. My ceiling for type 2 is 160 after 2 hours. I was 15 less. With 2 pieces of chicken, mashed potatoes, gravy, coleslaw, and 2 biscuits? Come on now. All right. Well, here at Grandpa's Kitchen, as you always know, we've always tried to model our show after the old classic TV show, Hee Haw. We just received some very sad news, and this is the last part, and we're going to call it quits after this. One of the actresses that was on Lulu, on Hee Haw, I can't even talk, it's got me so upset. One of the actresses on Hee Haw has just recently passed away towards the end of this last April, Lulu Roman. If you never saw her skit with Lulu's truck stop and many other skits, she was a comedian, very well loved and respected in her field. It's with a sad heart that we say goodbye to this living legend of country comedy in many respects. So today's episode has been dedicated to the memory of Lulu Roman. So today's episode, to you, Lulu, and all of us at the channel, we give you a big old
salute! Brought to you by Low IQ Production.